Hi everybody, it's Jen. We're going to talk about planners today. I'm going to give everybody a second to get on. If anybody's coming, you may hear some background noise today because we have been using hair dye in my house today, and so I have to have the door open or we're all going to die of the fumes. So the door is open. Hopefully it's not too loud. A fire truck went by a few minutes ago and I was like, ah! But really we have to have the door open for the hair dye fumes to vacate. So, okay. So if you have questions, drop them in the chat and I will answer them as long as I can see them. Today we're going to talk about the planner. And you know, Sonlight has this amazing planner and it has all these cool pages, and people sometimes have questions about going beyond just the daily scheduling. Obviously there are, you know, the like week on a spread pages that kids use, you know, that you can use per child or, you know, however makes the most sense for you. And people ask us, you know, what else do you use the planner for? How do you make it work? So I thought I would go through some of the kind of other pages today that that maybe don't seem so obvious about how one would go about making use of them. So I'm going to do a thing where I switch the camera to forward. If you get a glimpse of my very realistic sort of midday messy kitchen, I apologize for that, but you know, that's real life around here. So the first page I'm going to look at is the page on the side of the weekly schedule that has attendance. And so I just pulled this out. I don't use the planner the way that, like, I keep it in the big binder all at once. I kind of pull pages out and put them in my IG and keep them with me. So these are all pulled out pages so that I can just show you what I want to talk about. So you'll see here that I don't even label it. I just do a like Sunday through Saturday assumption of a week. And so this is for March, the month that ends today. And so we missed a day here and we missed a day here. I use an N because that's my son's initial and that's the kid that I'm still homeschooling. So, so I just didn't count those 2 days as attendance. And then underneath, I just sort of made notes about what our damage was. So one of those was a sick day. He didn't feel well this whole weekend, but only missed one day that I had planned to do school. And then this day here, you can see that was an Elliot day. My daughter-in-law called and said, could we do a thing for her? And we dropped school to go do it. And then we kind of never got back to school on that day. So I didn't count it, but it's no big deal because we don't need to track days or hours. And you know, we did really well the rest of the month, so I'm not at all concerned. And then today is actually my son's birthday, and so that is we're gonna have an algebra-free day as celebration, and like I said, we're dyeing hair. So that is one of the, like, wow, you know, what do you kind of do with this? Like, what notes would you make? These are the notes that I make. What did we miss? If any of these days had been, instead of a curriculum day, like a field trip day, I would have maybe made a note of that. Like I said, I don't have to, but I've lived in a state where we had to track, and I know that some of you have to track. And so this might be a place where I would track those things so that at the end of the year or the quarter or whatever, I had notes to go back to count days or account for what we've been doing. Okay. Next up. So this is the spread of the meal planning and shopping list day. And I'm going to preface the whole rest of this by saying I am not a type A person. So if this is not color coded, this is just me picking up different pens on different days. And this is just because it says yogurt and granola on Tuesday breakfast does not mean that's what we ate. So this is how I use it. Obviously, if this would drive you crazy, do it differently. But this is just one family's view so that you can either think, wow, that's amazing, or heck no, lady, I would never do it like that. So one of the things I do is make a general list of what I need to have in the house for breakfasts, lunches, and then dinners. And so this helps me because when I make a grocery list, I go through, okay, I need bagels, I need eggs, I need butter, I need strawberries, I need yogurts, I need the stuff to make granola, I need cereal, I need, muffin mix, I need sausage, whatever. And so I go through that knowing that these are the options that we have for breakfast for this week. So I may eat granola on a morning where somebody else has cereal, and I don't really care about that. That is not like part of my efficiency. I know some people who like make breakfast and that's what everybody in the house eats. That is not how I've ever done it. We're a little bit more feral than that. But I do like to make sure that we have good choices. And so I make a list of good options and then shop from there so that when people say, but there's nothing to eat, I have a list of things to remind them that they could actually go put together themselves. Okay, and you'll also see we have clean out days. I grocery shop at the end of the week, and so the people are responsible for cleaning out the leftovers and the refrigerator before I do that. Here's a day where we're scheduled to go out because we had an event to go to. This one says clean out, but we actually have to go to Chick-fil-A tonight because it's my son's birthday, so he gets to pick. Okay, so like I said, I normally keep this with my instructor's guide so that I can see it all the time because that like working binder of my instructor's guide is where I do a lot of my day. Plus, I have time to sit there and look at this and kind of make a mental plan for dinner while students are doing their seat work. And so it's just more efficient if I have it in front of me at that moment. Okay. Shopping list page. I'm again apologizing to all the type A people. I do not use this solely as a shopping list page because that's not what I need based on that meal planning page that is next door to it when the binder is open. So on this page, I make a list of all the possible, like 10 possible dinners we're going to make. I say every 2 weeks, but it's like not, it's more like once a month. We double up on a lot of stuff. And then we have several like scheduled things where either nobody's home for dinner or because of the request of a kid, because of a scheduling thing, we end up picking up sandwiches or pizza or, I'm just not the kind of mom who's going to turn down my husband when he says, do you want me to get you something while we're, out? I'm going to say yes every time, which cuts down on me have to cook dinner every night, which makes me happy. So you can see some of these are self-explanatory and some are some specific recipe that we have that I've used for years. So like tacos, quiche. I have several quiche recipes that we use. Country French chicken is a specific recipe. Buffalo slaw is a specific recipe from a friend I met through Sonlight. Sloppy Joe's, baked oatmeal, whatever. And then next to the main dish things right here, the next column is sort of side dish things that I also want to make sure I have the ingredients for. And so like here we have kale salad and 7-layer salad, both of which are like leafy green based things. Sweet potatoes, asparagus, broccoli salad, and corn salad. Those two aren't actually salads. It's like a broccoli dish with some other stuff mixed in that we call broccoli salad, but it's really just like a broccoli side dish to get my people to, eat yummy things. So, and again, when I go grocery shopping, most of these recipes, I don't know, do you guys do this? Most of the recipes that I have, need standard ingredients that we always have in the house. I always have black beans for chimichangas. We always have tortillas for tacos. I always have pie crust because I'm a slacker and I don't make pie crust. It's just one of those things. We always have ground meat. We always have oats. But some of these things have specific ingredients that I only buy for these recipes. Like this Asian beef pasta wants bok choy, which is delicious, but I have to go specially to get it. And so while I'm at that store that I don't normally go to, I get 4 things that I only use for specific recipes. So those things kind of show up on the menu together usually because it's easier to be efficient. So in the first column, I have main dish ideas for dinners. And then in the second column, I have side dish ideas for dinners. And then the third list, the third column of the shopping list page is my actual shopping list of things that we either have to restock in the house, like frozen berries. We always have frozen berries in the house, but I know that for this set of weeks, it's going to be pretty heavy. So I put it on the list. And then other things that we don't always have in the house, like brie and Granny Smith apples. So that's how I do the meal plan page. And this is just the next blank one. Okay. So there's an around the house page that's in every month. And it's next door to this chores page. Okay. So here you can see my lovely skeleton schedule of chores. Monday, we make sure bathrooms are clean. Tuesday, we clean up whatever is upstairs, and then I'll deep clean wipe the kitchen. Not once a year deep clean, but anything visible. I clean the counters under all the appliances, whatever. Wednesday, we do the downstairs, just, making sure every item goes back to where it came from, basic cleaning, and I run errands. Now, I don't always run errands on Wednesday, but I put errands on the schedule so that anything that I haven't gotten to or have been putting off or whatever can be done on Wednesday. It's just sort of my reminder. Obviously, I kind of run errands whenever I'm out. Thursday, we clean out the fridge and somebody vacuums the whole house. And then Friday, we change the couch cover because we have a kid with animal allergy. We do laundry and I grocery shop, which is why the fridge thing is on the day before. Okay. So I'm not type A, so I don't actually use any of these beautiful little circles. I check nothing off. If that makes you twitch, I'm so sorry. Obviously, you do what makes you happy and satisfied. This is my, there's not really a word for not type A moms. We kind of call it okayest moms. We're not perfectionists and we're not Pinterest ready and we're not fantastically, amazingly fabulous, but we're okay. So I'm an okayest mom, if that is something you can relate to, where we have this whole page of gorgeous bubbles to fill in and color code, and I do none of that. Okay, so back to here and the around the house page, and the things that we discover during chores go on this list. So right now, we need to replace a bunch of light bulbs in my house. My husband is very tall. I don't replace light bulbs. I say things like, babe, the light bulbs need to be replaced. Can you do the one in the den and the one in the bedroom? Because he can literally just reach up over his head without a stool or anything and do it, which makes it never my job again. We do air filters on a schedule. We have mini blinds that need to be replaced because when you have kids and then you buy cheap mini blinds, they need to be replaced once in a while. And then the garden and the roses are obviously seasonal. Sometimes that says Christmas lights or whatever. But so everything that I think of as we're going through chores goes on this around the house list just to kind of keep me organized. Obviously, I'm not a perfectionist or anything like that, but if it's in front of me, I'm much more likely to do it. And so if I write down light bulbs, the chances that I say, hey, can you replace those light bulbs, goes way, way up, which makes the light bulbs gets replaced, which makes me feel like a way better wife and mom. Okay, next page. So at the end of every month in the planner, there's a month review page. So this is March review. So I filled this out this morning. I'm only working with one student right now. And I'm really just making notes for myself. Because I'm not going to remember in June how March went. I'm just not. So I like to jot down some things. And I used to just do it like on the sides of my instructor's guide or whatever. But I love this page for the like monthly check-in with myself. This is like my parent-teacher conference notes page. So I noted here that we're making good progress like through the year because we sort of have a schedule that requires an end date. I know a lot of people don't have that. You don't need to have an end date. You can just keep on trucking and finish when you finish, and there's nothing wrong with that in the world. I actually prefer it, but it's just not the way my life runs in this season. Right now, he's thinking that math is really easy. Sometimes math has been a battle. I know probably that's just me, and none of your children ever make math or writing a battle, but this kid does. So I made a note that right now math is easy, and he's feeling like algebra is just a series of puzzles, and it's really fun and not even hard. And so I wrote that down in case it never happens again. We need to keep on track to finish by our end date of May 17th. Which means that we need to not skip days of reading, or if we have to skip a day of reading, we make it up or work a little bit ahead over the weekend or in the evening or something, because we are coming up on this very firm end date. So this is how the planner keeps me in mind of that. We need to do one last push on Spanish and writing, because those are the things that have just... they've been happening all year, but now it's time. It's time to do one last push. And so I'm making myself a note so that over the course of the next month, we get that done, that I make sure that happens. And because, right, if you don't write it down, it doesn't ever happen. And then I made myself a note that I need to go to my alternate read aloud pile, because we have finished with all of the read alouds for the HBL that we're doing. We're doing J. And he's really liked a lot of them, so we're done. But I have a stash of things that we did not finish in previous years, like read alouds we didn't get to. In previous years, this kid is not a super duper fast reader, so there's always something that kind of got left. And so, but I kept them, and so now we're going back through that half dozen or so books, because now we need 2 months more of read alouds. And after March has been reviewed, then we move to the April goals page. And I will confess, this is my favorite page in the planner. And a lot of people say, what am I even supposed to write down? How do I even use this? And I mean, it's very open-ended. You could do it just about school. You could do it just child per child per child and this month's education goals. I use this as more of my brain. So I make a personal goal, a volunteer goal, because I do volunteer stuff, a school goal, which when I say school, I'm only homeschooling one child right now. So there's no goals per child. It's really, he's the only one left. Family goal, house goal, work goal, because so many of you, I'm homeschooling and working. And so life gets pretty complicated, hence having the goals all written down so that I don't lose my mind. And so I just listed a couple of goals, like the family goal right now. Sometimes it's something really philosophical and meaningful. Right now it's buy a wedding gift and arrange clothes for a wedding that we have to go to. But the wedding that we have to go to is the 3rd of May, which means by the end of April, when I'm doing this at the end of April, it's too late. and like the wedding will be in 3 days. And so I have to get all that stuff done before the end of the month, which is why it's on the April goals page. The house goals is like stuff that has to do with gardening mostly because 'tis the season. Work, I've got stuff to do that just has to be finished. So we made some gardening goals up here. And so my husband wanted me to make a list of what we need to get at Lowe's, things I need to make sure I record. This is just notes. I just make notes for myself. Hey, do this, do this, do this. And by the end of April, I will have checked a whole bunch of it off so that I can move things to the next month if they need to be, or check them off and be like, hey, look at all the amazing things I got done. This page also helps me to do things in advance. You can see graduation plans are right here. I have a student who is doing dual enrollment at the community college for her last year of high school. So she will graduate in June, but I can't wait until June to make plans for the visitors and the party and the food and the, logistics. And so that's on April, and it will also be on May, and then it will also be on June. Okay. And then one last thing I wanted to show you was in this, this is half of a weekly, like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, blank list to be filled in of like what we need to do. And it's by subject, and it's very nice. I haven't really been using that the last couple of months because what's in the instructor's guide and the grid in there totally works for me. But there's something on the side of this page I really like. And one of them is top 3 weekly goals, and then activities for the weekend, and then inspiration. And so here's what I've been doing. My top 3 weekly goals for this kid, who is just 14, are taking responsibility for his spaces, his room and his bathroom, making sure his schoolwork is done. And by making sure, I mean him making sure, not so much me. And then he's involved in theater, so all of his theater responsibilities also have to be done. And obviously, he's, 8th grade. A lot of you have been there or are there now with me. We're working toward independence. And so there's a lot I want to put on his plate of his things. But then also I have to be the mom and double check things behind him and monitor things and, do all the logistics stuff with chauffeuring and all of the decision making. Okay, so these are the 3 weekly goals. This helps me to not bark and be irritated about every single thing. If I have our 3 weekly, and really for us, these are like monthly or even seasonal goals. These don't change week to week all the time. But if these things are done, then I'm like, okay, we're doing okay. We're doing okay. So, because there's always some little nitpicky thing, but I don't want to nitpick my children to death. And so keeping these main goals in front of us helps a lot. Okay, so now we go to the bottom underneath the weekly goals down to inspiration. And these are my why. So we talk a lot about knowing why you're doing things. As a mom, as a homeschool teacher, you have to know your why, especially when things get difficult. If we can keep the reasons that we are doing something in front of us, it makes it easier to tough through days that are just not easy. And so underneath, every time I write down weekly goals, I remember why. And so for this kid right now, we are trying to balance life in a family and like him being the youngest kid with independence. Remembering that we're trying to make him more independent so that he can be, a functional adult pretty soon. And so that is why I set these goals. Take care of your own space, take care of your own work, take care of your own responsibilities. And then that responsibilities come before privileges. So anytime there are some privilege requested, my answer, not just yes or no, is going to go back to, are your responsibilities taken care of? So one of the things I love about this planner is that it helps me keep my priorities as a mom and as an educator in front of me, like literally in front of me on the paper in red pen, as I go through the day and make decisions and respond to requests and stuff, because I don't want to just say no all the time. I also just can't say yes all the time. So I have to remember that what we are trying to do is foster independence and build an adult. And so when a request is made, hey mom, can I do this? My good answer is, are all your responsibilities taken care of? So I really, really like that the planner helps me do all of those things. Okay, so flipping back to me for 1 second. Sorry if that was shaky. That's doing my best. I like the planner that Sonlight made because it has all these extra things beyond just what are you doing today, what chores have to be done, what math has to be done. Those things are important, no kidding. But what are your priorities? What is your inspiration? I love that it helps me think about dinner before my husband comes back from his office and is like, what's the plan for dinner? And I look at him like, I don't know, what's the plan? No, do you guys do that? Maybe it might just be us, but we're like, I don't know, what do you want? I don't know, what do you want? So if I've actually thought about it and I have that list in front of me, then I can be like, I'm not really feeling like cooking, but I can make baked oatmeal because it's so easy and you just like mix a bunch of stuff together and slap it in the oven. Or I can be like, hey, we have the ingredients to do thus and such. If you want to cook with me, or if you want to grill the meat, I'll do whatever. And then we can actually have decent, healthy meals instead of just, pizza a lot of nights a week, because by the time we get to dinner, I haven't even thought about it and I'm done. So hopefully some of that was helpful. I know that for you type A people, you would rather, chop off your own fingers than, use the planner in the very fluid way that I do. Sorry about that. But the Sonlight Planner helps me not just to schedule my school day, but kind of to keep my brain together around a lot of areas of my life. And it's available to me, like I said, in those moments during our school day when the kids are busy with whatever work they're supposed to be doing. And I have that, I have to be sitting there. I have to be kind of on call for when the questions come, but I have a few minutes at a time to think out the rest of my day or the rest of the menu, or, hey, if we're going to do this garden, then all these things have to be done by about the beginning of April, which means I have to have that Lowe's shopping list ready on the day that my husband is like, hey, let's go to Lowe's tonight. So it keeps me in line. So if you have ideas about how to use it differently, or something looks obvious to you that I didn't talk about or don't do, that's amazing. I totally want to hear about it. You can leave me a note in the comments. If any of this spoke to you or you thought, oh, that might work for me, absolutely try it. So yeah, hopefully it was helpful. Anyway, we've been getting a lot of questions about the planner, so I thought I would share. I hope you guys have an amazing weekend. I hope the weather is beautiful where you are, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.